If you're a 3D printer like me, you've probably run into the same issue that I have. So many spools of filament and you don't know what to do with them. One problem with a lot of filaments is if you just leave them out in the open, they can absorb moisture, which can lead to bad prints and ultimately ruined filament. But thankfully, Vacbird has their 3D printer filament storage kit, and they sent it over for me to take a look at. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what's included with this 3D filament storage bag kit. So we've got 20 bags in the pack that I have, but they do offer this pack with more bags if you need them. So I've already opened one bag up to show you an example, but I've got another sealed pack here with an additional 10 bags. We'll look at these bags a little more in just a second. And then we have this nice carrying case that actually has the vacuum pump inside. So let's go ahead and get a closer look at that. Now what we have is just a really simple design here. You've got this nice handheld unit with a really simple power button here to turn the pump on and off. And then flipping it over, you see we have this rubber seal around the edge, and then the actual suction port here that's going to vacuum the air out of the bags. Attached to the end is a nice braided USB cable. I really like that it's braided. You know, it's not just a cheap rubber cable. They've really put some thought into the quality of this pump, which I really like. Now, at the end, we do have a USB plug, and by default, we've got the Type-C connection here on the end, but if you don't have access to a Type-C port, you can simply pull that off, and then we have a Type-A port to provide power for the pump. All right, now taking a look at the bags here, they really look pretty much like your standard resealable bag. We have a nice spot on the front so that you can label them with the date and notes regarding what type of filament is inside of the bag. We've got a double layered closure mechanism here at the top, which I really like. That just means you're going to have some additional protection at the top. That way you don't have air leaking in or out of this bag once you've got it vacuumed up. And then we have a small air valve section here in the corner. That's where you're going to attach the vacuum pump. Now, as you can see, the front side is a glossy material, but on the back we have a bit of a textured material to give a little additional flex for the vacuum process. All right, now I have a roll of filament here, so let's go ahead and show exactly how easy it is to use this vacuum bag and pump. So we've got the filament inside there. I'm just gonna close this up. Nice and easy, like you're used to with any other type of resealable bag here. And as you can see, these bags are shaped perfectly for 3D printer filament. Yes, you could put other things inside these bags, but these are perfectly sized for a single kilogram spool, which I really like. You do have enough room in there though, so it's not hard to put the spool in. It's nice and easy. I really like that extra space in there, but they're not overly big and get in the way or in bulky or anything like that. So now that I've got that in there, I've got my pump here. I've already got it plugged in to a USB port. So I'm just gonna line up the circle here on the vacuum to the air valve on the bag. And when I do that, I'm just gonna press down and then I'm gonna turn that on. And I'm just gonna hold down here and it's gonna take just a little bit to get going, but as you see, that bag is going to start moving and shrinking and tightening up on that spool of filament. So we're just gonna keep holding here until it removes all of that air or until you're happy with the results. As you can see here, that bag's really starting to shrink up onto that spool. Just about done there. You can kind of hear the pump. Just about done, and I'm gonna stop right there. You can pull that off nice and easy. As you can see here, we have pulled a lot of the air out of this bag, which is really nice. One tip I have though is putting in a pack of desiccant material. You know, a lot of times filament comes with that. Throwing one in the middle of the spool will help out with some moisture removal from the filament. You know, just as a second option for keeping your filament nice and safe. But yeah, we could leave the vacuum on for just a little bit longer if you wanted a little tighter seal on here, but super easy and super happy with the results of this kit. All right, as you saw, it was super easy to use this vacuum storage system from Vacbird. You know, you just put the filament in the bag, close it up, attach the vacuum to it, and let it do its thing. Now, you saw exactly how easy it was to just throw a filament roll into one of these bags, toss some desiccant pellets in there as well, and then vacuum the air out with that vacuum. This has the potential to save me quite a bit of money due to wasted filament. And that's something I can definitely get behind. I am super excited to expand these bags into the rest of my filament collection. That way, I know that they are safe and protected from any type of moisture getting into them. Now, as always, I've got a link in the description below if you want to try out these bags and vacuum sealer for yourself.